Hi, I'm Henry Segerman. These are a not entirely successful prototype for something that may be called Rook cubes, if and when they actually become successful. So this came out of a conversation on the Twisty Puzzles forum about sliding block puzzles that don't have frames. So the idea is you've got various blocks that you can slide relative to each other, but there's no frame that's holding them in. So there's a Japanese version of this called Boomdas, and Oscar recently made a version called Sega Das, which has the nice feature that when you try and slide off the end, there's a mechanism that actually stops it. And so that's why we were talking about these things. Sega Das was an invention by primarily me, but with a few other people involved as well. And then the discussion turned to, well, okay, so the Sega Das and the Boom Das, you have a two-dimensional square grid with this sort of sliding block behavior. What about three-dimensional versions, where you'd be able to slide vertically as well somehow, not just in the horizontal plane? So there's a version of this called Bishop cubes. I've got it up on screen now, where all of the cubes are identical, of course, and then there's the yellow, the red, and the blue sides, and each of them allow sliding in one direction of cubes and their neighbors. And so the question was, rather than having just sliding in one direction, can you have sliding in two directions? Or rather, so if I've got this cube and this cube, when they're face-to-face, you can slide off either north-south, or I guess up-down in the way that I'm holding them here. And you should be able to do that for all of the cubes in all orientations. And so, so these Rook cubes are the sort of upgraded version of Bishop cubes, if you like. Bishop cubes are actually named after somebody called Bishop. Rook cubes are just named because rooks are kind of like bishops, but fancier. And they go in and they go in north, south, east, west directions, which sort of fits with the movement that you're allowed to use here. The name was an invention of Saul Schleimer. He's good at that sometimes. So why is this a failed prototype? Well, so they do move in the way that we want, but there's a problem with them not sort of really clicking into place properly. Really, you want it to sort of click satisfyingly into the position, but as you can see, I've got a little bit of rotation movement here, so they're not really sort of settling in properly, and if one of the tiles is not settled properly, and you're trying to slide some other tiles onto that tile, then it becomes quite difficult you have to sort of line things up very carefully. So we really want it to click in properly so that it's much easier for things to get aligned. And there's another problem which I think is down to the printing. One of the directions here is very, very tight, and I think this is because this is the direction, I don't know if you can see the layering of the cubes. It's going this way, and so the tolerances are slightly different in whatever direction that is, and that makes it much harder to get them to work. So so in principle, this is maybe salvageable. It's not so clear exactly what needs to happen to get these to work. I think the design may be sound in general, but there's some issues that need to be solved. So anyway, this is a not entirely successful prototype of Rook cubes. Thanks for watching.